Did you purchase a Tesla recently? Are you constantly refreshing your Tesla app to see if you've been assigned a VIN yet? While I can't help you get your VIN any faster, I can help you prepare for your Tesla with these 10 mistakes you definitely want to avoid. Let's get into it. This is now my 5th long form video here on YouTube, and I realized I never really introduced myself or shared much of my background. So my name is Luis. I have a background in human-centered design and engineering, and for the last 10 years, I've worked to understand and design technology that puts people first. If you're interested in learning more about how tech, including Teslas, can actually make a difference in our lives, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of those upcoming videos. I'm shooting for the moon, even though I have less than 500 subscribers right now. By the end of 2025, I'm setting a goal of hitting 100,000 subs, and maybe even be able to do this YouTube thing full time. That would be awesome. So, is a goal of 100,000 subs a bit insane? Yes. Is it also possible? I really think so. So if you want to help us get there, hit that subscribe button. But with all that out of the way, let's get into the first mistake you want to avoid. Mistake number 1. Rushing through delivery day. Carve out as much time as you can on delivery day to carefully inspect your new Tesla. Open all the doors from outside and the inside, check the wheels and tires, check all the windows, press all the buttons, and make sure everything is properly installed and works as it should. As you're inspecting the vehicle, I also highly recommend that you record. In case you do end up missing something that needs to be fixed after you leave, you can refer back to that video and show Tesla proof that that issue was there before you took delivery. I've read people are given inconsistent timelines for reaching out to Tesla with delivery day issues, but I was told by my Tesla rep that I had up to 3 days to let them know of any issues that I found, and it would be covered under their delivery day warranty. During my inspection, I did find one issue, a small crack on the driver's side rear door. Because this is a refreshed Model 3, they didn't have a replacement on hand, so I had to request a service appointment through the Tesla app. Thankfully, their mobile service team was able to come to my house and replace the window about a week later. Let's get into mistake number 2, not taking the time to explore all of your settings. The first setting you definitely want to take a look at is regenerative braking. One pedal driving is a super unique feature to EVs, but it also takes some time to get used to. So you'll want to make sure that you have this specific setting turned on so that you make the most out of your regenerative braking when you're driving with just one pedal. By using regenerative braking, you're also able to extend how many miles you can drive on a single charge, while also saving your brakes, which saves you money in the long run by delaying how often you need to replace those brakes. There's also a really nice feature called Priority Key that when, for example, me and my wife both get into the Tesla, since we both have our own keys to the vehicle, it'll know which one to load based off of which profile has priority. So if I'm typically driving when we're together and both in the vehicle, it'll know to load my profile instead of hers, even if she opens the door first. You should also consider using Easy Entry, which simply allows you to set a separate adjustment for the seat for when you open the door. That way it lets you get in and out of the vehicle easier. You also want to make sure you turn on all of the autopilot safety features, since that's just another way the Tesla will help you stay safe. Auto cancel turn signal is also a great setting I recommend turning on, which, as the name suggests, will turn off your turn signal after you've changed lanes. But more impressive is that it will also leave it on when it recognizes that the reason you changed lanes is because you're going to turn at the following intersection, and will only turn it off after you've completed your turn. It's also really helpful to see your blind spot on the display when you turn on your turn signal. Teslas have a ton of settings, so if you're interested in me going over more of these settings, let me know in the comments and I'll create an in-depth guide to all of the settings I recommend. Mistake number 3 is using your manual door latch to open your door. Unlike traditional vehicles, instead of pulling on a handle to open the door, most Teslas have a button you need to press to open the door. This button is an electronically assisted mechanism to open the door, so if you ever find yourself in a situation where the Tesla has completely lost power, you have a manual door opening latch to use in these emergency situations. The issue with using this door latch is the window has a potential of getting damaged since the windows roll down a little when you open the door normally. Using the latch does not roll down the window, which is where the potential for damage can be. If you do use the latch when the Tesla is powered, you'll get a notification on the display letting you know you should only use the door latch in emergency situations. The rear doors also have an emergency door latch, but it is much more difficult to accidentally pull than the door latches in the front. So make sure to let your passengers know to push the button and not pull the latch before they potentially damage your windows. Mistake number 4 is not closing your hood properly. Depending on which model you have, there's a different place you should be pressing down to close your hood. Not pressing down in the recommended area can actually cause the thin hood to become dented. Traditional vehicles have thick and relatively heavy hoods, so you can release the hood and let gravity latch it closed. But since Tesla's hoods are significantly lighter, you'll need to use 1 or 2 hands, again depending on the model, after setting it down to latch it closed. Mistake number 5 is charging to 100% for daily driving unless your Tesla has an LFP battery. You should only charge your Tesla to 100% for long trips like road trips, but for daily driving, you'll want to keep the max charge to 80%. This will help keep the battery healthy and reduce battery degradation. The only exception to this rule is if your Tesla has an LFP battery. In that case, it's recommended to actually charge to 100% at least once a week to make sure the battery stays in optimal operating condition. If you're not sure which battery type you have, you can check the battery visualization when you are charging. If there is a separate daily and trip section, then you don't have an LFP battery. You can also go into your settings under control, software, additional vehicle information. If you see high voltage battery type, lithium iron phosphate listed, your Tesla has an LFP battery. Mistake number 6 is not preconditioning before fast charging. If you ever need to use a supercharger, the main mistake you can make is not preconditioning your battery to accept such a fast rate of charge. So how do you precondition your battery? It's pretty simple. You just navigate to the supercharger directly from the display. When you select a supercharger from the navigation screen, you will see a notification confirming that your battery is preconditioning in preparation for supercharging. If you have at-home charging, you can also, in the settings, set your battery to precondition for your daily commute to make sure the Tesla performs at its best. Mistake number 7 is not protecting your paint. Teslas have a long history of less than ideal paint on their vehicles, from poor paint jobs to very thin paint. The last thing you want is to make your car's paint worse. So here's 3 options to keep your paint protected. First, avoid going through an automatic car wash, especially the ones that literally beat on your car to clean it. These machine bristles are not cleaned regularly, and when you go into the car wash, any debris from a previous vehicle can stay stuck on these bristles, so when it starts rubbing against your car, it's adding a bunch of scratches to the paint also. If you have to use an automatic car wash, I highly recommend trying to find one that has a touchless option so that there's no actual physical contact between any machine bristles and your car's paint. The second way you can keep your paint protected is by getting some mud flaps. Rock chips are the worst because it will completely strip the paint in the impact area, leaving bare metal exposed, which has the potential to rust. And you definitely don't want any rust on your car. There are a lot of options these days for Tesla mud flaps, from really aggressive looking ones to more subtle ones like the ones I installed on my Model 3. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to these in the description. The ultimate way to keep your paint protected is by getting paint protection film applied. This of course is an extremely expensive option, especially if you get it professionally done, but here's a couple ways I found to save some money. You can opt to only get the film in high risk areas for rock chips, like the front fender, hood, and rear view mirrors. You can also consider a DIY option to save even more money. I have matte PPF on my Model 3 Performance and it has held up great so far, and it also just looks amazing. Mistake number 8 is not using voice controls. One of the things that I found particularly annoying when I first got my Tesla was the removal of all the knobs and buttons for controls like climate, defogging the window, or even opening the glove box. After publishing my 1-month review of my Model 3, many people let me know that I wasn't using the controls properly, and instead of thinking about a physical touch to adjust these controls, I should instead think of a voice-first approach. That was a game changer. Now I use voice controls for anything that requires more than a single tap on the screen, and it makes the experience of driving this Tesla significantly better. Do I miss the physical controls? Of course. But the voice first approach isn't half bad either. Mistake number 9 is tire wear. Because Teslas tend to be heavier than similar sized ICE vehicles, and of course the instant torque available when you step on the accelerator, your tires will tend to wear down quicker. So you'll want to keep an eye on your tire wear, whether with the penny method, where if you see all of Abraham Lincoln's head when you insert the penny into your tire tread, it's time to replace your tires. You can also use a standard tire depth gauge if you have one of those available. You'll also want to make sure you are rotating your tires at even intervals to make sure the wear is even. Tesla recommends rotating your tires every 6,250 miles and includes a way to remind yourself when it's time to rotate your tires in the maintenance settings. So if you want to prolong the life of your tires, change your driving mode to chill for daily driving, and remember to rotate them when needed, while also keeping them properly inflated. Mistake number 10 is not protecting your interior. I covered accessories to protect your interior in more detail in my last Tesla accessories video, so if you would like a more detailed look at ways to protect your interior, check that video out next. But I'll cover 2 of my favorite ways to protect the interior here. First is this leather seat protectant. It's an easy way to keep your seats from picking up stains, especially if you have white seats. It's pretty easy to apply and you simply have to wait 20 minutes between coats. I wear blue jeans on most days and my white seats still look like new, with no blue dye transfer, which was one of my main concerns when considering the white interior. Second is a set of all-weather floor mats. Put simply, the mats that come stock aren't the greatest and they are a pain to clean. Instead, consider investing in a nice set of all-weather floor mats. There are a ton of options online to pick from. They are easy to vacuum, wipe down, and ultimately help you keep your car nice and clean. Did I miss any mistakes? Or do you have any advice for other Tesla owners? Make sure to share your thoughts and experience in the comments. Now, if you want to hear more of my thoughts on the Tesla Model 3 performance, check out my 1-month review video here. Or if you're curious about the actual monthly cost of owning this vehicle, check out my monthly breakdown video here. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you. I can't wait to share some of my upcoming videos with you, and I'll see you in the next one.